wanting to have a technical solution, but it's another to impose like a rule that is set by that's gonna be followed by a lot of people.
Technology's role is just to assist a person or humanity in the way they want to use it. By default, it's neutral. It's not good nor evil. That's what do not assume that technology can be good or evil. Hey guys, this is Blockchain for Executives, a podcast with an objective to learn how you, as an entrepreneur or business owner, can leverage blockchain technology in the next years to come. So think of this as a podcast on blockchain and technology plus business. Today's guest is Gabriel Abbott with a master's degree and bachelor's degree in marketing communication from the University of Asia and the Pacific. So, Gabriel Abbott, I'm gonna go over your notable achievements, but before that, how are you feeling today?
Right. I'm thrilled to be in your show, Christian. Like it's a good opportunity to be actually been invited and actually be here in this podcast. And I hope like the people listening right now and people will be listening in the coming days will get some pieces of nuggets of knowledge, pieces of advice that they can apply in their own business in themselves, and also something that they can also be of help to other people.
It's nice knowing that you're having a great day and you're really happy that you're in our podcast today. I want us to go over a little bit of your notable achievements. You had a stint with Nestle and you had different marketing stints that in general really deepen your skills as a PH marketer, including copywriting for Amplify, digital client executive for Dentsu, as well as CMO for 17B Marketing Consulting.
Yeah.
We've been together for quite a while. I know you know how we met.
Yeah.
I don't know if we're comfortable sharing that. If you're up for it, Gab, I'm okay. It's up to you. So for everyone who's listening right now, I'm with my co-host right now, Alvin Reyes, who's actually the main into our podcast episode today.
Yeah.
And the way Gab and I met is very interesting. I was scrolling through Bumble.
Bumble.
Alvin, I see your face change. I was
Wait,
scrolling
no. wait, what is Bumble? I don't even
So
know.
Bumble
that
is a dating app. Bro, it's a dating app.
Oh, that is like
Yes.
a local. Is it a Philippine-based like local?
No, it's global. It's global.
Oh, okay.
And
I
then
only know Tinder, but it's Bumble.
yeah, Tinder is
okay.
there.
Mm-hmm.
But then we had the section in Bumble. It's called Biz. So at that time, I was thinking, how do I expand my network? Because I didn't know how to network with people. So I stuck with Bumble, and I was actually talking to Gab before. I told Gab, you know what? I'm gonna be a badass blockchain developer, blockchain engineering. I'm gonna lead the next generation of tech. And fast forward a few years from now, we're here. So I hope you're having a great time so far, Gab. Because for me, that was.
So Gab, you got sniped.
Yeah, I got sniped. Yeah.
So,
Actually, that was my intent too. Like I was looking for unconventional ways to connect with other entrepreneurs because you can't go outside at that time. It was during the lockdown. Like it was 2021, I think, or early 2021, and then people can go outside, and then I was just scrolling through the platform, and then I saw Christian's message. My profile seemed interesting to him, and then he asked a few questions, and then the rest is history. Basically, we're here, and
so that's the Riz.
yeah,
That's the Riz. Do you want to do business with me?
Yeah.
Do you wanna collaborate? That's the Riz. Okay.
Rising entrepreneurs. But then the interesting part there actually was it was the peak of 70B consulting, or was it the time you were exiting nung time na yun?
all right, yeah. That was the time that I already left my job with as the digital client executive for Dentsu. It's one of the leading agencies in Manila, and that was the time I was doing my own marketing and advertising agency with my college batchmates. And then at that time, I also had like many side gigs. Like I had a stint with it in real estate, as I mentioned before the podcast started. I did whatever I can flip kasi under the sun, it becomes my hustle. That's why I get connected to the not the randomest, but the most like a wide array of network na that I can get connected to. Around from being this to this, from this person to that person. Ang layo, parang from an person to, let's say, a real estate broker, parang ang layo. Pero may kilala ako doon sa field. So
Yes.
that was when I was with 17B exploring marketing at my own pace and time, and leaving the safety net basically of employment. So,
That's really good kasi you managed to establish your connection on that consulting gig of yours. Then you used or you sort of leverage or use those connections to build your business, right? The real estate business that you founded. So that's sort of to me that's like a natural progression. It means that you're growing. It means that you grew onto that role that, hey, okay, now I can do things on my own. I can, I have the connections. I have these, I have a plan. And then, to me, I'm really interested how you pull it off. Say from my point of view, especially on the real estate, in the Philippines, it's very hard to do real estate business. Just the valuation of the properties, just looking at how they're propping up the value of these, and the demand itself, right? And then, in a way, since I'm here in Canada, the value of Philippine peso is also going down for the past three years. So I'm not sure if that's still the case. So it's really good that you were able to do that. And I would love to learn more about your real estate journey, to be honest. So yeah.
Since we're there now, no? Real estate, it's really the part of the industry that you're in, Gab, that I want us to focus on essentially. Because I remember back then, a lot of clients are vying for real estate, specifically fractionalized real estate. A lot of clients go to us, say, hey, can you build us a fractionalized real estate? And it keeps on popping up, right? So I want you to walk us through the industry right now, real estate. What trends do you see, and how is it going in the next years?
Right. Real estate in general, it's very subjective. So valuations in startup, that sometimes people can just wonder how on earth did you get that value? Parang it's a seller's market. So so in the Philippines, let's say, because as I mentioned earlier, the properties that are very, very pricey are condominiums, because they are close to all establishments that you'll be needing, and you can put the price on convenience. That's why people put more money there. Even if it's a 6 million studio unit, they wouldn't bother paying for it if it's in BGC, if it's in Makati. So basically, it's very subjective. Yeah, people have different valuations. Yes, you can categorize the standardized, in a way, rate or price per square meter in a certain location or area. But if a person, it's like NFT in a way, that if a person puts it at this price and someone agrees to it, then it becomes a deal. And if a person is let's say rush selling the property and then someone has cash, they have a deal. So basically, it's a seller's market. And then another thing in the Philippines is very interesting, because we have a booming population. We're very near in overtaking Japan in the world's list. I think we're at around 11th or 10th. And just to give you perspective on how big it is, we need to build 2,500 houses per day to support our population. That's how intense it is. That's why you see let's say a project by SM Development being built, and you just wonder, sino kaya bibil? Who would buy the property? Who would buy the piece of the property? But someone would, because of the population is just growing, and we're it's interesting how Metro Manila has more residents than European countries like Serbia, Lithuania, Slovenia. We have more population in Metro Manila alone comparing to those countries. So that's how intense. That's why what differentiates the Philippine real estate market than other markets is that there is no bubble. How you see the prices of properties in Manila, or in the Philippines in general, it's not gonna go down anytime soon, because the population is just supporting the growth that it's yielding. That's why, as someone who did real estate flipping, I'm bullish on the Philippine market, because it's just gonna go up in value. We have the population to support the growth of the number of properties that we currently have, and there's still really a really huge room for growth if you just find the right opportunities. Because if you just go into it blinded, decision, with proper research and
Mm.
like
Mm.
weighing the pros and cons, the potential profitability of the property. That's where you get into quote unquote a mess, like
Mm.
financial mess. That's
Mm.
why, yeah, I think in the Philippine real estate market, what's happening again? Just to recap, Philippine real estate market, it's subjective the same way that how it's subjective to in other countries. And the second is investors are very confident that there is no bubble. Like you can keep the prices and what you paid for the specific property that you acquired.
Yeah.
That's real
Yeah.
estate, Philippine real estate in
Yeah.
general.
Yeah. Yeah. To me, I agree with that. Like, I'm not a real estate expert,
Yeah.
but I do have a few like real estate, properties in the Philippines. I have like three, four, but I don't really. I'm not like you, na. You're in there. You're in the game. I'm sort of like holding the properties and then
Yeah.
just just I hold it. I bought it. I hold it and then just look at the market and see if I can make profit, right? Monetize it. So, yeah, you're right na it's all like a speculated value in a way, right? Kasi like whatever the seller or whatever the buyer wants, whatever the seller thinks that this property is valued at, that's going to be like the price. Regardless of the zonal value, right? Because we do have a zonal value, right, in the Philippines. Like we know the
Right.
price per square meters, but it's just a reference. It's not like
No one follows.
no
No one
one
follows
follows
that.
that. Like it's always propped up. Like I guess like times three, times four. Especially like for
Yes.
example in Parañaque. Like, so I live in Parañaque there. I live in near BF Homes. So I'm not sure if you guys are familiar. It's a BF Homes. It's like one of the not luxurious, but it's like a subdivision. It's a closely gated subdivision in Parañaque. Like the value of the properties there is like what 30 a two car maybe a two-car garage there or a one-car garage like detached home there is like 30 million, 35 million, 40 million, right? And if you think about the zonal value in Parañaque, it's just like 12 to 14,000 per square meters. Like and these properties are like what 200, 250 square meters. So it's not the same as the zonal value. So, yeah, and you're right. There's never gonna be a bubble. There's never gonna be a bubble for that. Because there's always gonna be someone can afford that. Honestly, 30 million, for example, in 30 million, if you live like if you're working as an OFW or if you're working abroad, like if you're like someone who lives like here out west and then you are earning US dollars or US dollars and then you're still like a Filipino citizen, right? You can technically afford that 30 million if you can take out a loan because you have like the money, right? The down payment. So yeah, to me, you're right. It's not gonna go down. It's not a bubble. It's always a seller's market. Kasi
Yeah.
dito out west, it's like balance. There's
Yeah.
sometimes it's a buyer's market. Sometimes it's a seller's market. So timing is really everything here. Like it's like you need to those who are sniping properties, those are like the real ones that are like like they're experienced, like they're flipping it, and your return of investment for that is it's not as high. Pero yeah, in the Philippines, I can see why it's profitable. So
Yeah.
yeah, you're in a good spot.
Actually, it makes sense nga eh. I was trying to figure out from the things you've been saying, I was trying to figure out how exactly does the blockchain technology fit into it. And as you go over the essence of, or at least how it works currently in the market, now mostly it's all about seller's market. The prices are dictated by the community, the people who are involved. It gave me a reason to or at least it reminded me or told me why people actually go for fractionalized real estate. It makes sense eh. That means currently the strongest use case for blockchain and real estate is that fractionalized real
Yeah.
estate or any way of selling assets using blockchain. But I wonder, are there other processes do you think in real estate that wherein blockchain can be used other than just selling assets? Like let's say for
Right.
example, I was talking to actually this is a project that we're gonna do. I was talking to a friend of mine in a different industry and we were discussing how about if you standardize data by using blockchain. It's like an open data protocol. And how for example, what we're doing is open data protocol for fractionalized workers. Because apparently a lot of people are building fractional worker apps or dApps right now. So if you standardize the fractional worker database and agree that this is our protocol for that, you can get the data about the fractional workers, the reviews, etc. Anyone can port into that data pool or at least that protocol for any app It's like an open standard. So I was wondering, is there something like that in real estate, or is there a different use case of blockchain that you see would fit into your industry?
Right. The first thing I thought when I was doing it firsthand was there can be like some sort of, because I heard of what Tiwala is doing at the moment, like their partnership with the government and whatnot. It can be applied in a way that there can be a decentralized way to verify a specific property title, because it takes a lot of money. Like it should, in a traditional sense. Like let's say, for example, I am a potential buyer of a specific property. I would pay for, let's say, because for me, if for me to verify that that land being sold is a clean title, basically no tax cases, no history of anything bad in the past. I need
Mhm.
to go to the city hall. That's how traditional it gets. This is how traditional it gets. I need to go to the city hall, or go to the registry of deeds specifically, and then have the title, the photocopy of the title verified there. I have to pay 500 pesos. But what did I spend going there? If I'm from Marikina, I went to Antipolo. Like my gas, my food, my, like all the miscellaneous expenses that goes into just verifying a property title, right? Like if you were to tell me that you're doing a decentralized app for title verification, that there's no history, that this is really the title, the code for the title is just under a specific owner, I would pay you whatever amount you tell me, because I don't have to
Mhm.
go out of my house just to know that this property is really owned by that person, and that
Mm.
person did not have any case in the past that would hinder me from transferring the
Mhm.
title from him to me. So
Mhm.
that's
Mm.
what's one thing that I have been looking for the past 3 years of doing it. Can there be a website? Can there be a
Yeah.
blockchain application that can just be,
Mhm.
your reference when it comes to verifying a property title?
That'll be a go. That'll be good. Kasi,
Mm.
yeah, I imagine you can. Well, this is so. I did have a few conversations with a few people in the real estate business, right? Like here in the US or in Canada, they're using REITs, right? So they sort of like
Mm.
pooling all of the investments from different investors, from different people. Like they put it aside, and then they split whatever fees that they're getting whenever that specific property gets some revenue, right? If for example, if you're renting it out, if someone is renting it out, this company is renting it out, it can pool investments from different investors, and then whatever the value or whatever the split is, the percentage of a split that's agreed upon
Mm.
will be given to these investors, right? So, but that's more for the investment. But I see your use case about the using a unified blockchain, right? For doing this, there is a push for tokenization of digital or assets, and one of those assets is the real estate. And if you think about
Mm.
it, you can actually create sort of a token, not even a token. Like let's say it's like a contract, a binding contract that everyone will agree on. That okay, this is gonna represent your real estate, your property in the Philippines, and then you can do some. You can facilitate transfers. You can facilitate all of the documentations. You can facilitate any verification just by using that token. And if you have sort of the key or the private key for that token, then that signifies that you are the owner of this property itself. But the solution is there. Like I get that we can do that right now. The tech is there. It's just that the business development and the coordination, right? Because in the Philippines, it's one thing to have a technical solution, but it's another to impose a impose like a rule that is set by that's gonna be followed by a lot of people. So someone needs to go in there to create the solution, but also someone needs to really spearhead the acceptance of this type of protocol. So, for example, this can be the government, right? If the government starts to sort of push this, right, to everyone that, okay, hey, this is the blockchain that we're going to use, this is the token that we're going to recognize as the property, and this is how you're going to transfer or transact, right, with one another. So, if party A wants to sell to party B, you have to
Mm.
facilitate your transfers or your selling or buying and selling using this token, using these digital assets
Mm.
that's on chain, right, with the other party. So yeah, that's gonna be very
Mm.
beneficial. That's gonna be like really good. It will remove a lot of headaches. It will remove a lot of like inconvenience in terms of paperwork, because all of these paperwork can be like you mentioned Tuala, right? They have a Tuala sign.
Mm.
They also have Tuala ID, so you can technically have an identifier for each of these documents and users
Mm.
or any actors in this space. So yeah,
Mm.
I hope we get to that point. one of the best use case, honestly, in the blockchain space. That's not cryptocurrency. Although you can sort of you can sort of imagine that this token can be paid by, let's say, a PHP stable. It's not the PHP stablecoin that powers it. It's more of the blockchain, the token that represents the property. So yeah, I totally agree with you. Honestly, it's one of the things that I'm excited about. It's just that it's harder. It's hard to implement that kind of solution. Not because of the technology, the lack of technology. It's just because of the regulations, right? The lack of regulations and lack of recognitions of what a blockchain is. So
True.
yeah, yeah.
Actually, fun fact, bro, Gab. Alvin is actually part of Tiwala. That's number one. he's, he's actually part of Tiwala. That's why he's really
Advising.
passionate about it. And I'm not sure if you mentioned a certain tech or a certain form or use case of blockchain technology na, bro, Alvin. It's your favorite. So I'm gonna let you see it. It starts with the letter S.
Ayun, what is that? Sorry. Go. What is that?
Sovereign.
Oh, self-sovereign identity. Yeah.
Yes.
Yeah. Yeah. Go ahead.
I wanted to go over that. Do you think na because actually before we go to SSI, I want to go over the issues with right now yung BD part of blockchain. It's really the hardest part because
Yes.
when I was talking to some friends in businesses or entrepreneurs, they have buying power. They have the capacity to buy shit in blockchain, in the blockchain ecosystem, technically. Pero there's this concept of trustless, right? One of the business owners asked me, okay, if you're you're using blockchain tech NFTs and tokens for your real estate, somewhere there, someone has to hold the items, hold the document somewhere. And I'm like, yeah, oh my god, I know. We want it to be trustless, but right now I don't see it. Yeah, so we're still working on it. It's a work in progress.
Well, technically, you can create a system on a blockchain where there's an escrow contract, right? Like that, it can represent like a company. Like for example, your company, if you have a construction or a real estate company, that real estate company can have like an escrow smart contract that will hold all of these documents before party A can sell it to party B, right? But a key thing there is that there's sort of transparency over the transaction. Like these, that it happened there, and then there's also, it's digitalized, right? Everything is on chain, everything is recorded, everything is traced, it's logged, right? And what if we do that kind of system, we can sort of create this massive historical like value later on, so that we can use that to predict, right, the values or the value of specific properties in the future, right? And then there's also like the convenience side of things that everything is digitalized. So if like for example, if you're, let's say the land transfer documentations, right, and you don't want that to be tampered with, so you can use IPFS, like you can use like decentralized storage networks, right? Decentralized storage technology, so that you
Data
can
store.
like decentralized storage, right? So that you have this token that exists as to represent your property, but there's also this storage where the documents, the land transfer documents, the documents that you signed, is not going to be tampered with, right? So yeah, the SSI, it's a big thing. It's one of the things that, just reiterating earlier what I said is, it's the technology is there, the solution is there, but I agree with you. The BD side, selling it to the owner, selling it to everyone, especially with what's happening with the crypto winter right now. Everyone is like, they don't like blockchain because the valuation of cryptocurrency is down. But the technology,
FTX.
the cryptographic the cryptographic proofs and technology is there. It's all based on math. So math is always going to be 1 + 1 = 2. It's never going to be 1 + 1 = 3. So we trust the math, right? We always trust that. And that's the technology. Like if you believe that 1 + 1 is 2, then that's what we are talking about here, the blockchain tech, right? It's all
true.
based on that. We have to trust the code. It's exciting, but I know the pains of doing BD work. So been doing it for like since 2016. So I went relatively early in the space. Kaya para, every time you go out there, it's like, oh, you're a blockchain company, or what's the value of crypto, right? And I'm not even talking about crypto. I'm talking about SSI, identity, right? I'm talking about tamper-proof solutions, right? Your documents will be safe. Your privacy is going to be secured, right? It's going to be safeguarded. But yeah,
Mm.
and then I get all of these, comments na, oh, cryptocurrency is down, Bitcoin is down, I lost money, I got scammed. And
Mm.
like, as if like I'm the one who who scammed them. Like it's you know what I mean? Like, can you do something about this?
Winner
Because
project.
because I lost money, and then and the reason why he lost money is because he bought at 20K and now it's like
Mm.
$250. Like, so right, so it's always tied up to that cryptocurrency,
Yeah, that's
but
true.
yeah,
Actually,
gives you
I have a
value,
question
right?
for you,
Yeah.
Gab.
Yeah.
In terms of real estate, is there some kind of how do you call this? It's like PSA, right? PSA, NSA, where they hold the documents and statistics, birth certificates, birth documents, etc. Now, my question is there a certain, how do you call this, institution that handles real estate documents, real estate deeds, real estate proof of ownership, etc. in the Philippines right now? Because I'm
Yeah.
not a real estate guy. I swear, not I don't know a single about real
Mm.
estate. So that's gonna be on you. Is there a certain institute?
Right. In the Philippines, it's just the government at the moment. So for title verification, it's only the Registry of Deeds. The RD
Usually, usually.
is a separate entity that validates. Actually, it's still under the municipal hall, but the purpose is very independent when it comes to title verification. They'll give you
Mm.
like the copy of the original title, but it's just the copy, not the original title. They'll give it to you if you're the interested buyer, and you just
Mm.
have to pay for a fee, and then right after. What happens is right after you verify the title. Let's say this is the second-hand market I'm talking about. This is not the market wherein you deal with a developer. This is a subdivision or like a condominium development. This is just the resale market wherein you have to buy it from an individual. So basically, you verify it under the registry of deeds, and then for you to check that there are
Mm.
no deficiencies when it comes to tax payments, you have to go right after to the BIR to get a tax clearance on the property. So basically, that's where the municipal VRR. That's where you get confident that this property is really owned by that person, and having been owned by this person this amount of time, it will show there.
Oh.
It's since
Mm.
1972.
Mm.
The owner, the property
Mhm.
is owned by this person, and after that, verifying it with a BIR, it will be shown to you that the person is actually very consistent with paying the tax year in year out
Mm.
since 1972. That's what
Mhm.
you need
Mm.
to know. So basically, it's
Mm.
really the government. I haven't heard of a third party or like a private company doing that for you, except for the ones that
Mm.
are manpower firms that have their people processing it with the government, still with the government, but really
Mm.
having a database for that, not really.
Yeah,
Mm.
I think
I
that would be a
see.
good step for them. Yeah.
I see a really good. Actually, it's really fitting it. Based on the way you tell the story, I envision what I call an on-chain country, like an
Yes.
on-chain country. Imagine, let's just focus on real estate only. Imagine if all our documents for real estate is technically on-chain and it's our source of truth for everything. And then our transactions, our purchases, our credit card swipes are actually stored on-chain. So like including the credit score itself, the transactions we do are already all on the single source of truth, which is yung on-chain country.
Mhm.
I find that that's one of the biggest and strongest use case that can be done for real estate, at least all of what we do in the Philippines,
It's
a
on
single
chain. Yeah.
source of truth for all our data, for all the documents, that if anything happens, it's all gonna be there. No one can burn buildings, no one can
Mhm.
tamper with your document. So I think that's
Yeah.
a really strong use case. The only thing I want to see your insights on this as well, Gab and Alvin, because this is something I do feel strongly about, just not as public as because but
Mhm.
technically, what tech is meant to, innovation is meant to disrupt things, right? Disrupt the
Mhm.
way we do things. I want to know your take when it comes to blockchain disrupting our country, or at least the way we govern our current state, because blockchain is going to disrupt that by being transparent and immutable. And it's going to expose a lot of things. It's going to equalize a lot of them. So I want to
Yeah.
know, I want to know thoughts on that, because that's, bro. Sure, that's something I've always wanted to write about. But I'm gonna let it out here. I want to hear from you guys what do you guys think. Because transparent, immutable, that's not necessarily something that a lot of people in our country wants. And I think we all agree on that.
Right. So I think I mean for me it's exciting to imagine, but for other people siguro baka hindi. So I mean yeah, for me it will disrupt all forms of governance in all shapes and forms. That from the barangay level and all the way up to the national level, it will really change a lot of things because doing businesses like having businesses with different government agencies, I've seen how things operate, how it's being done,
Mm.
and at the end of the day, if blockchain comes in and makes it transparent, then the truth will set our country free. Like
Yeah.
how it will
Yeah.
it will how integrity will now take its place in it's because
Yeah.
that's where it comes in once
Yeah.
we're transparent because and I'm not sure how if I already mentioned but so basically given that I have a hiatus with flipping real estate. I'm currently doing Buo Philippines, which is a P2P platform where you're able to book freelance architects, designers, and engineers. But at the side, I also do because that's a startup. The thing that really supports me, I mean, financially, is the importing business. So I have an importing business that imports steel furniture. These are your filing cabinets, your lockers. It's being supplied to
Mm.
basically businesses. It's a B2B business, and be doing that, I was able to deal heavily with the Bureau of Customs. I'm not sure if you guys are aware, but the government arm that handles the shipments going and going out in the Philippines, and
Mhm.
seeing how it goes end to end, like how they do business and whatnot. I'm pretty confident that blockchain has a really good use case when it comes to that industry.
Mm.
That's just customs, right? It's just customs, but from the barangay level all the way to the national, there can be a lot of use cases, and it will really set our country free.
Yeah. I agree with you like 100% on that. Like right now, like I think the government, right, in the Philippines, they're all trying to digitalize everything, right? Documents, digitalize the experience for the users, right? And this digitalized a digital sort of ecosystem that's not really backed by, in my opinion, that's not backed by cryptography, it can be tampered with, right? Like, you can literally create documents, digital like assets like that. But if you incorporate like blockchain, like cryptographic proofs, right, that you cannot tamper with. Let's say you create a block, you use a blockchain that's public, that you don't really control the validators. That's gonna disrupt a lot of of like hidden operations inside the Philippines. So
Yeah.
it tells me that this blockchain is gonna disrupt a lot of things. It's not just gonna disrupt the barangays, the small, the lower levels of the government, but it's gonna disrupt the entire thing, like the entire government itself, the entire operations, the entire process, right? If everyone agreed, right, to do this, to do this on chain, to have transparency, to use blockchain as sort of the source of truth, right, to use math as a source of truth, we are going to be in a better place for sure. The next 10, 20 years, we're going to be in a better place, right? Imagine voting systems, right, that are not tampered with, right, using blockchain. That's, we will get the truth out of the people. Who do you want to lead this the country, right? And we imagine like, reporting, BIR, right? If we created a reporting system where, there's consistent reporting in taxes, then that will be beneficial for us too, because you now have a transparency across the board, right? So in my opinion, I believe it is something that that's gonna be better for us in the Philippines. But
It's a hard crawl.
it's a hard crawl. I believe in myself. I think it's gonna take generations, even like sort of impose that, just because of the bureaucracy, the barriers, and people not really wanting to do this because of transparency, because they are doing whatever they're doing, right? So yeah, to me, it's better. It's best. It's really good. It's disruptive. But it's hard. If someone wants to tackle it, it needs to be strategic. divide and conquer
That's
kind
true.
of thing. Like wherein you go in there, you go with the flow of everyone who is doing this, and then you make changes internally, right? You cannot really go there. You cannot really attack it head on, right? Okay, blockchain. No, not like that. It's you have to be inside the government and then sort of try to change things for the better, right? So that's my opinion on that. Yeah.
I think
Yeah.
in general, so far, Gab, what's your understanding of how, from the discussion we had with Alvin, what's the general direction, or at least what do you think will blockchain do that could help you as a business owner in the real estate industry
Mhm.
right now, especially being the founder of Buo Philippines
Yes.
and working specifically on real estate yourself?
Right. So I think the thing that I'm eyeing upon hearing the capabilities and the features of blockchain that can just help in general, like the country and whatnot. Because because right now I'm in real estate in the form of construction tech, so that is my specific area. And in construction, I'm not sure if our viewers or audience right now are aware. If you are an engineer and if you're an engineer, let's say civil engineer, and I did a project. I did the structural plan, the structural integrity of a specific house or a specific condominium, or like a simple apartment, let's say. What gives confidence to people that hire the engineer is the construction warranty. So all professionals have that. If you're an engineer, you design the structural plan for a specific establishment, you need to have a guarantee that the structure that you planned, that you proposed for the client, it's gonna last for the next 100 years. And what's a better way to have a database, like to have a some sort of way to validate that in any way better than the blockchain. In construction, it's just very hard. Like, what if the firm that took the project, the specific engineer is no longer there? Because it's been what, 50 years, diba? 40 years.
Yeah.
But if it's on the blockchain, the firm is still liable to get back to the client and say that yes, this is actually under us, and we are liable in the damages incurred by the property with the specific circumstances, like, let's say a flood or like an earthquake, because it should withstand that. Like a structure should withstand it in the next 100 years, and if it did not, then there was something wrong in the design, and the firm or the professional should be liable. And having that way, like blockchain coming in and be that, you know not naman everlasting, but in a way permanent, decentralized database in handling construction projects in general. These can be applied to my business, like if, let's say in Buo. If an architect under my platform did that, if there's any mishap with the architect's plans or like design plans, what we're liable. Of course, we're not liable for the mishap themselves, because we are an intermediary
Yep.
like of clients to professionals. But at the very least, I can give my clients some sort of confidence that it will be on chain for the next 100 years, because the transaction was tabulated, or like got marked here in on chain. Like, it did not just tallied in a random Excel file that that Christian Kirapas from, let's say, barangay Pinagbuhatan Pasig is um is a client of this specific um professional or engineer, and something happened this in this specific time frame. Basically, it would allow, like, I was very, it was just a light bulb moment for me that the construction warranties in general can be done on chain. And the best thing about it is that people can't run away from it, because it's immutable. It's just there. So
Yeah. Yeah.
it's a good way to.
Pati
You have
mga anak
a
mo, no? Like,
yeah.
if you have
You have a
kids, if your parent was the one who started it, you passed away, and then birth certificate wise, you're required to extend that lineage and store your data so you can track. Oh, ikaw pala engineer,
Yeah,
oh.
Yeah.
yeah. I mean,
Ikaw bahala
that
dito.
yeah, yeah, yung traceability, right, and the verifiability din ng blockchain. That's what it is for, right? For
Yeah.
verifying your data, ensuring that's not tampered with, right? Even if, like, let's say
Mm.
someone uploaded a new version of that file, like of your new, like, I don't know, deeds or transfer documents, you will still have that previous version to go to, right? If ever, like, because you can see the historical,
Yeah.
changes that happen on that document, right? So you can audit it
Mm.
and you can trace it back, you can log it, right? So that's the beauty of, yeah, blockchain. That's why, to me personally, I was attracted to this industry because of that, because of, just the idea of having a digital sort of asset that you cannot tampered with,
Mm.
right? Before, when I first heard about, like, yung Bitcoin coin, a digital coin, I was like, what, you can just copy and paste a token, like, ganun. And then that was like my first thought, like, before, like, I didn't know about Bitcoin,
Billionaire.
right? And then,
Copy paste
yeah,
money.
and then when I saw the use case, so because the first use case is a cryptocurrency, it's a currency.
Mm.
I saw how they verify, how I saw the blockchain, how it cryptographically proof the token that it's yours, it's not tampered with. That's where I thought, like, okay, this is how it works. This is really good. This is really great, because we need something like this in
Mm.
the digital space, right? Especially now, we're
Mm.
all like in the digital space. Everyone is digitizing. Everyone is leaving some digital footprint, right? Like content creation, your digital IDs. It's all gonna be there. And yeah, same thing with these, with what you're working on right now with Buo, right?
Mm.
With architects, with civil engineers. So my brother ko actually civil engineer siya, and he's doing
Oh.
Mm.
yeah, he's also like doing this. He specializes in, like, I don't know, like, I don't even know how it's called, pero he's been the one building all of our the apartments.
Right.
Kasi my mom has like 9 to 10 apartments there sa Philippines. So, like, yeah,
Wow.
all
Wow.
of them, like, lahat sila, all of these apartments and, like, this transient,
Serial
houses, they were all,
apartmentalist pala to.
yeah, they were all built by my brother. Actually, it's funny kasi I bought the condo 2012, and then my mom, she's already she's a CPA, she's an accountant, so she's an established, like, businesswoman. And then she saw me that, okay, you have a condo, so and then she bought like a land, and then she like nagtayo na rin siya ng sarili niyang parang transient and, like, condo and apartment house, right? And to this day, ang dami na niyang investment, because she's
Wow.
the real deal. Like, to me, she's the real deal. She's a businesswoman. So, kaya parang it sort of like resonate to me yung ginagawa mo sa Buo, because my brother is a civil engineer. He's doing all the work. And actually, naisip ko parang I would want to introduce yung app na to him, because he is also sort of looking for side gigs, side projects, right, that he can work on, right? So, and he knows blockchain because, my extended family there is like, they know how this technology works. They share my passion as well in this space, so they kind of like know. It's just that they're not programmers, they're not software engineers. So I'm sort of like the software engineer sa family. So, but yeah, it's really been, it's good that you yourself, you acknowledge, and you also realize that the potential of using blockchain sa real estate industry, right? That's really a great thing to hear, coming from, someone who's establishing something in this space.
That's actually beautiful. Because Gab especially, he's not just he's not just a talker. Like a lot of the things Gab told me before, he actually did. So
Oh.
it puts weight into the words he's saying right now, and I'm excited because if he can execute, then the things he's saying now, he could, if he choose to, he would most likely be able to do
Yeah.
it. And
Ah.
it brings a certain thought in my mind now. Naalala ko sinabi ni Vitalik, there was a certain time in blockchain where Vitalik himself was actually questioned. He said, "Bro, you built a really big thing, and now it's rugging people of money, etc. It's causing heartaches. It's making people lose their life savings, their money."
Yeah.
And then Vitalik gave a response. It was really beautiful, but I want to change it a little bit to this discussion. Vitalik said na, if you create technology's role is just to assist a person or humanity in the way they want to use it. By default, it's neutral. It's not good nor evil. That's what. And Vitalik said, do not assume that technology can be good or evil, right? It's neutral. We should collectively as humanity work on making sure that tech is actually used for the greater good. That's what he said. But today it kind of gave me an idea. I wanted to talk to Vitalik and said, you know what, Vitalik, in the Philippines, here's our perspective. To you, it's neutral, but in the way we see it in the Philippines, it's like there's with blockchain technology, there is inherent integrity,
Yeah.
right? Due to the immutability and due to the transparency, that would potentially change an entire country. So
Yeah.
it's a good way of it's a good different perspective from the neutrality, but in marginalized or countries like ours, it's not really neutral because it
Mhm.
stands towards bringing integrity to the surface and leveling us, making it a greater good thing. So yeah, I like that part. Lastly, since we're at the end of the session, Gab, I will give you this chance and opportunity to plug as hard as you can.
Right. To all the viewers out there, I just want to announce that there's this thing called Bo, wherein you can now book freelance architect, designers, and engineers at a very affordable rate. If you are a builder, if you are an aspiring builder in the Philippines, if you don't have budget yet for contractors, firms, and other project managers out there, you can consult construction professionals that are available for you to be able to explore possibilities and at the same time design perspective for your space. And it doesn't cost much. And the best thing about it now, given that we're at our soft launch stage, is that consultation with our construction professionals comes with no time limit. It's one of the best features of our platform right now. So if you are an aspiring builder with no budget for contractors and firms just yet, you can now consult our professionals and explore possibilities and ask away your questions as well. So thank you, Christian and Alvin
Mhm.
and Warvin for this opportunity to be in your show, and this is really a privilege to actually just converse and explore possibilities for blockchain to be implemented in my industry, my business, and eventually, as Alvin said, in our country, generations. No matter how long it might take, and whatever it takes, we'll see it through for sure.
Yeah. Yeah. Yeah.
Mm. How
Someone
can
needs
they
to do
reach
it.
you, bro?
Yeah.
Right. And if you are interested with what we're doing, what we're pushing for at the moment, you can reach me through my socials. It's Gabriel Abbott in Facebook and Instagram. So here is my Facebook, here's my Instagram, and the link to our website is popping on your screen right here. And if you want to ask questions as well, I can also be reached through my LinkedIn account, and I'll be responding very quick as soon as I see the message.
All right. So, Alvin, do you have any last few words before we close today's episode?
Last words. I mean, yeah, this has been a great session. It's been really great talking to you, Gab, about the real estate. I mean, to me, I love that space. Honestly, like that real estate space. If I were not the tech, I would have chosen to try it out, try that, try the real estate. I started investing in that, right? So, but it's really good to see people like you who is trying to innovate, trying to create solutions, trying to create democratization solutions. What you're basically doing is a P2P, right? The democratization solution with Buo, and using technology to further the digitalized solutions in the Philippines, right? This is the kinds of solutions that we need in the Philippines. This is the kind of like progressive mindset that we need to create progress, right? To push progress, right? In the Philippines. And I hope we can work together on if you want to use blockchain technology, if you want to use decentralized tech as a whole. Because to me, I see the potential. I really see that I can see that we can disrupt things. We can spearhead this kind of innovation. Anyone, in a way, right now, anyone can create sort of like a P2P or a democratization solution, right? Like Airbnb for this, Airbnb like application for this. But if you create something that's immutable, right? If you backed it up with something that's immutable, you have cryptography to back you up, right? The data is always there. It's verifiable, right? It's math. Then you are essentially creating a great value proposition that's beneficial for your business, but not just beneficial for your business, but also beneficial for humanity, for us, for everyone, right? Because of the transparency and because of how anyone can utilize it.
All right, guys. So that has been Alvin Reyes, our host, and I am Christian Kirapas, your co-host for today. And this is Blockchain Executives, a podcast that is focused on teaching everyone how to leverage blockchain technology for their businesses.